YouTube as we know it is now completely dead. And if you support Donald Trump, your days here are now numbered. To us here on the right, big tech censorship isn't anything new. For years now, they've been targeting conservatives and making those of us still left on here have to censor ourselves just to maintain a social media presence. They tried to be subtle about it for a while, but once the election came around, they took the mask off and went full-blown communist, hiding dozens of President Trump's tweets, labeling anything as misinformation, and fact-checking anything that challenges mainstream media narratives. But what YouTube just announced is so much worse than any type of censorship we've seen before. They are now going to completely erase any content that challenges or questions the integrity of the 2020 election, and they boast having already banned thousands of accounts. According to YouTube's latest policy update, quote, "Since September, we've terminated over 8,000 channels and thousands of harmful and misleading elections-related videos for violating our existing policies." The policy update continues, "We also work to make sure that the line between what is removed and what is allowed is drawn in the right place. Our policies prohibit misleading viewers about where and how to vote. We also disallow content alleging widespread fraud or errors change the outcome of a historical U.S. presidential election. However, in some cases, that has meant allowing controversial views on the outcome or process of counting votes of a current election as election officials have worked to finalize counts." And here's where things get really spooky. We will start removing any piece of content uploaded today or anytime after that misleads people by alleging that widespread fraud or errors change the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, in line with our approach towards historical U.S. presidential elections. For example, we will remove videos claiming that a presidential candidate won the election due to widespread software glitches or counting errors. Those are awfully specific, YouTube. Effectively, what they are saying is that if you use YouTube to allege that anyone but Joe Biden won the 2020 election, you will be banned. Even before they announced this policy update, it was already abundantly clear that YouTube was trying to stop the spread of pro-Trump content. In case you haven't noticed, our views on YouTube have recently been a mere fraction of what we were getting just a month ago. Needless to say, it's going to be very difficult for me to keep uploading videos here to YouTube. What am I even allowed to talk about anymore besides the weather? This is why it's more important than ever for you to join us over at libertyhangout.tv, where I can actually speak freely and not have to worry about censorship. We are currently having our biggest sale ever for Christmas, and I highly encourage you guys to sign up for our annual plan, which you can get at a phenomenal rate right now at libertyhangout.tv. I really wish that I could upload every single video I make to YouTube, but with the way things are going, the majority of my content going forward will likely have to be uploaded at libertyhangout.tv. I've also moved over to Parler and Rumble, and I urge you guys very quickly, go follow us there as well. Unfortunately, YouTube's policy update doesn't just end there, of course. They tell us in plain text what their goal with all of this is. They write, over 70% of recommendations on election-related topics came from authoritative news sources, and the top recommended videos and channels for election-related content were primarily authoritative news. In fact, the top 10 authoritative news channels were recommended over 14 times more than the top 10 non-authoritative news channels on election-related content. So who exactly do they consider to be an authoritative news source? We have ABC News, USA Today, NBC, Fox News, CBS. Gee, I wonder why they would consider these outlets authoritative. Surely they would not have an agenda, right? And here's where their policy update gets a little funny. Despite these encouraging results, we recognize that there's always more to do. For example, while problematic misinformation represents a fraction of 1% of what's watched on YouTube in the US, we know we can bring that number down even more. So this misinformation, as they call it, is so dangerous to our democracy that they have to outright ban it. Yet it only makes up a fraction of 1% of what's watched on YouTube? That's like cutting celery out of your diet because you're getting fat. But you know what's really ironic about all of this? Who were the ones misleading people about the outcome of the 2016 election? Oh, it was NBC, ABC News, CNN, CBS News, PBS, MSNBC, The Washington Post, The New York Times, and all of the other mainstream media outlets. Yet how many of their videos did YouTube take down for the lies they told about Russian meddling in the 2016 election? 0. But let's trust these same outlets to definitely tell us the truth about what happened in this election, right? With this, we need to start saying goodbye to YouTube since they said goodbye to us a long time ago. Join us over at libertyhangout.tv to watch Kaitlin Bennett Uncensored, where I can freely tell you all of my thoughts about the election, about the lockdowns, and about any number of topics that social media doesn't let me express an opinion about. You can also directly support my work at patreon.com/Kaitlin Bennett to gain access to my private Facebook group and help me keep covering events and keep bringing security with me every time I film. It is so crucial to be out there supporting President Trump, but I can't do it without your support. And make sure you follow Liberty Hangout over on Rumble and follow me on Parler at KateMarieOX. The country as we know it no longer exists. It's up to us to come up with ways to keep living freely and not let the communists win. Unfortunately, we know the truth about these masks, but sometimes you're still forced to wear them. Go to shopfreedommasks.com. It helps support my work. We have so many. This is the best seller for people who are forced to wear a mask but still want to send a message while they're being forced to. Shopfreedommasks.com. As you guys notice, I got hands put on me, a couple people trying to touch the camera or whatever. That's why I have these guys. They handled it very well. The only way I can get them is if you support me at patreon.com/Kaitlin Bennett, even just $5 a month. That's where your money goes, and I'm proving it right here. Promises made, promises kept. Patreon.com/Kaitlin Bennett. Thank you for your support. Go to libertyhangout.tv right now to watch Kaitlin Bennett Uncensored. Not only will you get to watch exclusive content from me, but you'll get to say you stood for the truth, you stood against radical leftism, and you stood up for America. When you visit libertyhangout.org/store, you are not only supporting the Liberty Hangout team, but you become part of the team. Visit right now and you can get exclusive t-shirts, hats, posters, and more that supports our work, but more importantly, supports our cause. When you purchase a shirt from the Liberty Hangout store, you become a symbol of freedom to those around you. Visit libertyhangout.org/store to get your merchandise today.